Hollywood, 1972. Two legends stood face to face in a private gym, separated by nearly 100 pounds of weight difference. Muhammad Ali, the heavyweight champion of the world, towered at 6 feet 3 inches and 210 pounds of pure boxing power. Bruce Lee, the martial arts icon who'd revolutionized action cinema, stood at 5 feet 7 inches and 140 pounds of concentrated speed and precision. The room fell silent as Ali, with that trademark confident grin, asked the question everyone wanted answered. "Bruce, could you actually beat me in a real fight?" It was the ultimate question. The greatest boxer who ever lived versus the greatest martial artist on film. Everyone expected Bruce Lee to laugh it off, to dodge the question with humility. But what came out of his mouth shocked everyone in that room, including Ali himself. His answer wasn't just confident. It was calculated, strategic, and so brutally honest that Ali's smile faded as he realized this wasn't just movie star talk. What Bruce Lee said that day changed how Ali viewed martial arts forever. And the explanation that followed revealed secrets about real fighting that most people never understand. Before we reveal Bruce Lee's mind-blowing answer and the philosophy behind it, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. This isn't just about two legends, it's about understanding what real fighting actually means. Drop a comment telling us who you think would win, and let's dive into this incredible true story. To understand this legendary encounter, you need to understand who these two men really were. Not the Hollywood versions or the propaganda, but the actual fighters behind the fame. Muhammad Ali in 1972 was at the peak of his powers. Born Cassius Clay in Louisville, Kentucky, he changed his name after converting to Islam and had become the most recognizable athlete on earth. His boxing record was legendary. Lightning-fast hands that could throw 6 punches in a second, footwork so smooth people said he floated like a butterfly, and a sharp tongue that backed up his famous phrase, "I am the greatest." But Ali wasn't just fast for a heavyweight, he was scientifically studied. Sports researchers measured his punches at over 1,000 pounds of force. His jab could snap an opponent's head back before they even saw it coming. He'd fought and beaten the most dangerous heavyweights of his era: Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, George Foreman. These weren't just big men, they were trained killers in the ring, and Ali dominated them with a combination of speed, strategy, and unshakable confidence. Ali's training regimen was brutal. He'd run 5 miles every morning at 5 a.m., then spend hours in the gym working on combinations, footwork, and conditioning. His reach was 78 inches, meaning he could hit you from distances that seemed impossible. And his chin had taken the hardest punches in boxing history and kept going. This was a man who'd been studied by sports scientists, military strategists, and boxing analysts who all agreed Ali might be the most complete boxer who ever lived. Bruce Lee in 1972 was something different entirely. Born in San Francisco but raised in Hong Kong, he'd studied Wing Chun Kung Fu under the legendary Ip Man before creating his own martial arts philosophy called Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. But Lee wasn't just a martial artist. He was a philosopher, an innovator, and obsessive student of combat. Here's what most people don't know. Bruce Lee was a legitimate fighter, not just an actor. He'd fought full-contact matches in Hong Kong as a teenager. He'd challenged traditional martial arts masters in California who claimed he couldn't teach Kung Fu to non-Chinese students, and he'd beaten them. His famous fight with Wong Jack Man in 1964 lasted either 3 minutes or 20 minutes depending on who you ask, but everyone agreed Lee won decisively. Lee's physical conditioning was insane even by today's standards. He could do one-handed push-ups using only his thumb and index finger. He could hold a 75-pound barbell straight out from his body for several seconds. Try that yourself and you'll understand how impossible it sounds. His famous 1-inch punch could send a 200-pound man flying backwards into a chair. Scientists who studied him found that his punches generated incredible force despite his small size, because he'd mastered the biomechanics of transferring power through his entire body. But Lee's real genius was his mind. He studied every martial art he could find: boxing, fencing, karate, judo, wrestling. He read books on biomechanics, physics, and psychology. He watched fight films over and over, analyzing what worked and what didn't. His personal library contained over 2,500 books on combat, philosophy, and human performance. He didn't just practice martial arts, he dissected them, tested them, and rebuilt them into something more efficient. Lee had even studied boxing specifically, and he had enormous respect for it. He trained with professional boxers, incorporated their footwork into his system, and often said that a good boxer was more dangerous than most traditional martial artists because boxing was tested constantly in real competition. He knew exactly what Ali could do, and he'd thought deeply about the advantages and disadvantages of different fighting styles. The meeting between these two legends happened through Hollywood connections. Both men ran in the same celebrity circles in the early 1970s. Ali was famous for visiting movie sets and meeting celebrities. Lee was on the verge of international stardom with movies like The Big Boss and Fist of Fury breaking records in Asia. Mutual friends arranged for them to meet at a private gym in Los Angeles, knowing that these two would have plenty to discuss. According to people who were there, including some of Lee's students and Ali's entourage, the atmosphere was friendly but charged with curiosity. Here were two men who represented the pinnacle of their respective disciplines, both known for confidence that bordered on arrogance, both absolutely convinced they understood combat better than almost anyone alive. They'd been talking for about 20 minutes, discussing training methods and philosophy, when Ali, never one to avoid a provocative question, decided to ask what everyone was thinking. The question wasn't meant as a challenge or disrespect. Ali asked it the way he asked everything. Directly, confidently, with genuine curiosity about how someone would answer. "Bruce, you're fast. Real fast. I've seen your movies. But could you actually beat me in a real fight?" The room went quiet. Ali's people looked at Lee, waiting to see if he'd be diplomatic or honest. Lee's students knew their teacher well enough to know he wouldn't sugarcoat anything. That wasn't his style. Bruce Lee didn't hesitate. He didn't laugh nervously or try to deflect with humor. Instead, he looked Ali straight in the eye and said, "Yes, I could beat you, but not the way most people think." Ali's eyebrows raised. His trademark smile flickered slightly. He'd expected either false modesty or a joke, not a direct affirmative answer from a man who weighed 70 pounds less than him. "Oh yeah." Ali leaned back, genuinely interested now. "How you figure that? I got reach on you. I got weight on you. I got power on you. You think those movie kicks work on a real fighter?" What happened next became the stuff of legend among martial arts circles, though the exact words vary depending on who's telling the story. But the core of Lee's response has been confirmed by multiple witnesses who were there that day. Lee stood up and began to explain, not with arrogance, but with the precision of a professor teaching a lesson. "Muhammad, you're the greatest boxer who ever lived. In a boxing match, with boxing rules, I wouldn't stand a chance. You'd knock me out, probably in the first round. Your hands are too fast, your power is too great, and you've trained your whole life for that specific range and those specific rules." Ali nodded, satisfied with this acknowledgement. But Lee wasn't finished. "But you asked about a real fight. No rules, no gloves, no referee. That's different." Lee's voice remained calm, almost academic. "In a real fight, I wouldn't try to box you. That would be suicide. Instead, I'd attack your legs." He moved into a fighting stance, and even though this was just a demonstration, everyone in the room felt the sudden shift in energy. Lee's entire body changed, his weight settled, his eyes focused, his hands positioned not for show but for function. "Your legs are your foundation, Muhammad. Your footwork, your movement, your power, it all comes from your legs. In boxing, you've trained to protect your head and your body. But your legs? They're unguarded. Exposed." Lee made a quick motion, simulating a low kick to the thigh. Muay Thai fighters condition their shins like baseball bats. One solid kick to your quadricep, and that leg starts to slow down. 2 kicks, and you're limping. 3 kicks, and you can't put weight on it. Ali's expression had shifted from amused to genuinely interested. He was listening like a student now, not like a champion being challenged. Lee continued, his hands moving as he explained. "While you're trying to figure out why I'm attacking low instead of high, I'd use that moment of confusion. I'd change levels. That means I'd drop down suddenly and attack your knees directly. Not with punches. with strikes using my elbows and knees, which are harder than fists and don't break as easily. One of Ali's trainers started to object, but Ali waved him off. He wanted to hear this. Your boxing stance leaves your legs wide open, Lee explained, now moving around the space to demonstrate. In boxing, that's fine because nobody's allowed to hit them. But in a real fight? It's a massive vulnerability. I'd use oblique kicks here, he gestured to the knee, to hyperextend your joint. That's not something you can just tough out. Knee ligaments tear, and once they're damaged, all your weight, all your power, all your training becomes irrelevant because you can't stand properly. The room was completely silent now. Even Ali's people, who'd come expecting to see their champion playfully dominate this conversation, were paying close attention. And here's the thing, Lee said, his voice still calm and professorial. You've never trained to defend against these attacks because they're not legal in boxing. Your reflexes, your instincts, your muscle memory, it's all built for boxing rules. But your brain can't defend against what it's never experienced. When that first low kick hits your thigh, your boxing instincts will tell you to move back and create distance. But that's exactly when I'd close the distance and attack your base. Ali was nodding now, following the logic. So you're saying you wouldn't even try to knock me out? Why would I? Lee responded. Your chin has taken hits from George Foreman. You've got one of the greatest chins in boxing history. I'm 140 pounds. Even if I hit you with perfect technique, I probably wouldn't knock you out with strikes to your head. That would be playing your game. Instead, I'd destroy your mobility, take away your tools, and make your size and power irrelevant. Lee then demonstrated what he meant by moving around Ali, staying just outside the boxer's range. I'm faster in short bursts than you are. Not over distance. You'd catch me if I tried to run. But in quick movements, changing angles, moving laterally, I've trained specifically for that. While you're turning to face me, I'm already hitting your legs again. And I'd aim for the same spot every time, the common peroneal nerve on the side of your thigh. Hit that nerve cluster hard enough, and the whole leg goes temporarily numb. Doesn't matter how tough you are. It's neurology, not toughness. One of Lee's students, who'd been watching quietly, later recalled that this is when Ali's expression really changed. The boxing champion wasn't offended or defensive. Instead, he looked fascinated, like someone had just explained a concept he'd never considered before. Plus, Lee added, I'd use my environment. In a real fight, there are no ring boundaries. I'd use walls, furniture, anything around us. I'd try to get behind you where your reach advantage doesn't matter. And if the fight went to the ground, which it probably would, that's where your boxing training stops completely. Ali interrupted, You'd try to wrestle me? I got 70 pounds on you. Not wrestle in the traditional sense, Lee explained. But if you're on the ground with damaged legs, your size advantage decreases dramatically. On the ground, leverage matters more than strength. There are joint locks, chokes, attacks that don't require me to overpower you. I just need to position myself correctly. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has proven that a smaller person can submit a larger person using technique. It's not about strength, it's about understanding human anatomy and exploiting its vulnerabilities. The explanation went on for nearly 20 minutes, with Lee breaking down the specific techniques, the strategy behind each attack, and the psychological advantages of fighting outside someone's area of expertise. He wasn't bragging or trying to humiliate Ali. He was teaching, sharing the knowledge he'd spent years accumulating. What happened next surprised everyone in the room, but it revealed something profound about both men's character. Muhammad Ali, who'd built a career on never backing down, who'd told the world I am the greatest 1,000 times, who'd faced down government prosecution for refusing the Vietnam draft. This man nodded slowly and said something that nobody expected. You know what, Bruce? You might be right. The room erupted in shocked murmurs. Ali's trainers looked at each other in disbelief. Had their champion just admitted someone could beat him? But Ali wasn't done. He stood up, walked over to Lee, and put a hand on the smaller man's shoulder. I've never thought about it like that. In the ring, with boxing rules, I'd destroy you, brother. We both know that. But what you're talking about? He shook his head with genuine respect. That's not boxing. That's war. Bruce Lee smiled, and it was a smile of mutual understanding between two masters. Exactly. Boxing is a sport. A beautiful sport, maybe the purest combat sport. But it has rules designed to test specific skills. A real fight has no rules. It's about survival using whatever works. Ali sat back down, his mind clearly working through the implications. So all my training, all my speed and power, you're saying it wouldn't matter? I didn't say that, Lee corrected him quickly. Your training would matter tremendously. Your speed is real. Your reflexes are real. Your ability to read opponents is real. All of that would make you incredibly dangerous in any fight. But you asked if I could beat you, and I'm explaining how I would try. Could you adapt and catch me with a punch before I damaged your legs? Absolutely. You're fast enough and smart enough. Could you grab me and use your weight advantage before I could escape? Possibly. Lee paused, making sure Ali understood he wasn't being disrespectful. The truth is, Muhammad, we'll never know for sure unless we actually fought, and neither of us is stupid enough to do that. But I've spent my life studying how to overcome bigger, stronger opponents because I'm always going to be smaller than the people I might have to fight. You've spent your life perfecting the art of boxing. We've trained for different purposes. Then Ali asked the question that showed why he was more than just a great fighter. He was a great thinker. So Bruce, what you're really saying is that fighting isn't about who's the best. It's about the rules, the environment, the situation. Is that it? Lee's face lit up. Yes, exactly. That's what most people don't understand. They want to know who would win, a boxer or a kung fu master, a wrestler or a karate expert. But it's the wrong question. The right question is, what are the rules? What's the context? What's the environment? Change those variables, and you change everything. What followed was a deep conversation about the philosophy of combat that lasted another hour. According to witnesses, Ali became genuinely interested in martial arts concepts beyond boxing. He asked Lee about meditation, about training methods, about the philosophical side of martial arts. Lee, in turn, asked Ali about the mental game of boxing, about handling pressure, about dealing with fame and expectations. The two legends discovered they had more in common than they'd realized. Both had been told they couldn't do what they'd done, Ali because of his unorthodox boxing style and his race, Lee because traditional martial artists said his mixed approach was disrespectful to ancient traditions. Both had proven critics wrong through dedication and innovation. Both understood that true mastery wasn't about following rules blindly, but about understanding principles deeply enough to know when to break rules. The meeting between Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee that day in 1972 became legendary not because of who would have won a fight, but because of what it revealed about combat, respect, and wisdom. Bruce Lee's answer to Ali's question wasn't just about fighting technique. It was about understanding contexts, adapting strategies, and respecting different approaches to combat. When Lee said he could beat Ali by attacking his legs, he wasn't being arrogant. He was being honest about how different rule sets favor different fighters. In a boxing match, Ali wins every time. In a mixed martial arts fight with no rules, Lee's strategies might give him an advantage. In a street fight where anything goes, dozens of other factors would matter. Environment, whether anyone has weapons, who gets the first strike, even luck. The deeper lesson is about expertise and humility. Ali, one of the most confident men who ever lived, had the wisdom to listen when someone explained something he didn't know. He didn't feel threatened by Lee's analysis, he felt intrigued. That's the mark of true confidence. Insecure people can't handle being told they might lose at something. Truly confident people are curious about other perspectives because they're secure enough to learn. Bruce Lee showed equal wisdom by framing his answer respectfully. He didn't claim he'd easily beat Ali or mock boxing as inferior. Instead, he explained the specific context in which his approach might work. He acknowledged Ali's tremendous skills while explaining different parameters. That's the mark of true knowledge, understanding nuance rather than dealing in absolutes. This encounter also revealed something about how martial arts and combat sports evolved. In 1972, the idea of mixed martial arts didn't really exist yet. Boxers boxed, karate practitioners did karate, wrestlers wrestled, and they rarely crossed paths. Lee was one of the first to seriously study how different martial arts could complement each other, and how understanding multiple styles made you more complete. Today, modern MMA has proven many of Lee's concepts correct. The most successful UFC fighters are the ones who can box, kick, wrestle, and grapple. Fighters who specialize in only one style struggle against opponents who've trained in multiple disciplines. The best lightweight fighters in the world, men who weigh close to what Lee weighed, regularly defeat larger opponents by using strategies similar to what Lee described. Attacking legs, exploiting grappling, using mixed attacks that skilled strikers aren't prepared for. The leg kick strategy that Lee described to Ali has become fundamental in modern combat sports. UFC fighters target their opponent's lead leg with low kicks specifically to reduce mobility and power. Watch any high-level MMA fight, and you'll see fighters systematically destroying their opponent's legs with repeated kicks, exactly what Lee told Ali he would do. But perhaps the most important lesson from this encounter is about respect across disciplines. Ali didn't need to admit that Lee's strategy might work, but he did because he respected the martial artist's knowledge. Lee didn't need to acknowledge Ali's superiority in boxing, but he did because he respected the sport's depth and Ali's mastery. Two legends from different worlds found common ground through mutual respect and intellectual honesty. The story also reminds us that there's no such thing as a perfect fighting style. Every approach has strengths and weaknesses. Boxing is incredible for developing hand speed, footwork, and conditioning, but it doesn't address kicks, grappling, or weapons. Traditional kung fu has beautiful forms and philosophical depth, but it needs pressure testing against resisting opponents. Wrestling is tremendous for controlling opponents, but it doesn't address strikes. The smartest fighters understand this and either accept their limitations or cross-train to address them. What made both Ali and Lee legendary wasn't just their physical skills, it was their mindset. Ali revolutionized boxing by doing things wrong according to traditional boxing wisdom. Hands down, leaning back from punches, talking trash. Lee revolutionized martial arts by questioning traditions and asking what actually works. Both men succeeded because they thought for themselves rather than blindly following what they'd been taught. So here's the question. Who do you think would actually win? Ali with his speed and power, or Lee with his strategy and technical diversity? Leave your answer in the comments, but remember, the real answer is it depends on the rules. If this story changed how you think about fighting and expertise, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories about legendary figures. Share this with someone who loves martial arts or boxing. This conversation between two legends deserves to be remembered. Thanks for watching, and remember, true mastery is knowing that there's always more to learn. Muhammad Ali passed away in 2016, remembered as the greatest boxer of all time. Bruce Lee died tragically young in 1973 at age 32, but his influence on martial arts and action cinema continues today. Their brief meeting reminded us that legends can respect each other's greatness without diminishing their own. That's a lesson the world still needs.